Hi there and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to walk you through the drawing of some sunflowers. But before we begin, I'd like to start with our meditation that you can think upon as we are drawing and creating together. It's from Ephesians 1:17 and 18. And it's from the Voice Bible. God, our Lord Jesus, the liberating King, Father of glory, I call out to you on behalf of your people. Give them a mind ready to receive wisdom and revelation, so they will truly know you. Open the eyes of their hearts, and let the light of your truth flood in. Show them what you have promised them. Shine your light on the hope you are calling them to embrace. Now, before we begin, I will tell you that I am working on an 11 by 14 piece of paper. And usually what is helpful is to draw a little bit of a grid, just a dotted line along the middle, going both ways. This is the drawing we're going to be creating. As you can see, simple but beautiful. Now I created it and then I actually used colored pencils for this. So as you can see, it can come out quite lovely. It doesn't matter if you have paint or you have crayons, colored pencils, watercolors, or even acrylic paint. So feel free to maybe use this as the time you practice it. And then if you want to go into another type of medium or even use like a canvas as opposed to a piece of paper, feel free to do that. I'm going to be drawing in marker just so that you are able to see what it is I'm doing. Okay, so looking at your grid that you have here, just right above this grid here, I would say that's your top left grid, part of your grid. You're going to draw a circle. And then another circle, and you can draw it so that it's almost touching your page. So you can see that's kind of the downside of using a marker. It's hard to fix once you get started, but I actually have a little bit of paint here to kind of block that out so that I don't get confused on what I'm doing. I'm actually going to rework that as well. What I find is even doing this where I fix what I see as a mistake, what is lovely is you can kind of still see it underneath. So that's okay. So there we are. It's kind of like the shape of a donut, right? Okay. So from here, you're going to add on the petals for the sunflower. So the shape is more of like the shape of an arrow. And you're going to fit it in wherever it makes sense on your page, right? So if you were thinking about this sunflower and over here on this side, you would not necessarily see the petals because they'd be off the paper. So you're thinking about that as you're drawing the petals all around, okay? So they are going to start to feed on top of each other. So for example, you have your next petal that's going to go up like an arrow and then come down. And then you can do that again, up and then down. And then notice that about right here, it would make more sense for me to then just reach out and draw a full petal again, right? Okay. Now a trick that I like to do is I like to take my paper, and especially if you have it sitting down on a table, lift it up and look at it and see what you think. And your eye will intuitively tell you where to add the next petal, okay? So for me, I feel like this makes sense right here, so then I'm going to add another one like I did last time. And then maybe one more that way. Actually, that has a nice little curve in there now. And then I'll make one out of my own. And then one more right here where it would close over in the corner. Okay. So now with that, I would then go back in and I would add some smaller petals in that same style. And again, where it makes sense. So this feels like it would be a little too bunched up to put it here. So I'm going to put one here. And for now, I think I'll just leave that as is. Okay. So there's where we are for now. So now you've got your first petal done. So now let's go ahead and finish this out and add a stem. So again, looking at your drawing, where would it make sense to put the stem? So for me, I feel like the stem should go maybe right in between here. And then I'm going to add the leaves. So more of a longer stemmed leaf. Okay, and that's sunflower number 1. So now sunflower number 2 is going to make its way over here on this side. So again, you're looking at your drawing and you're going to see where this makes sense. So I'm going to put one sunflower here, but I'm also going to put one down here in the corner. So I want to be mindful of where those petals will sit and whether or not I want them to touch the other petals. So for this particular drawing, I'm going to try not to have them touch. But if you like the look where they're kind of intermingling, especially along with that meditation that we started with, feel free to do that. Okay, so from here, I'm going to do the same thing, except this time with the circle, it's going to start and end as if it would be going off of the page, okay? And then start to add your petals. Now, because I made my petals over here so big, it makes more sense for me to have them touch. So I'm going to let them go ahead and touch. Okay. And then with this, I probably want to rework that circle. I don't really like how far down it's gone. Okay. Okay. And then once you're done here, so I'm looking at this flower, and so it seems to me I wouldn't necessarily see the stem on this flower, but you could put it right here. But I'm actually just going to have a portion of the stem, the leaf showing, okay? And I'll be able to articulate that when I do the painting process. Okay, so let's add one more sunflower here in the middle. And again, we're trying to place them in between the two sunflowers. Okay, And then if you'd like, go ahead and add your petal, your stem, and then decide whether or not to add leaves, or you can leave it as is. Now again, we're going back in here. If it feels like this would make it look more authentically the sunflower that you're envisioning, then add some petals in between the petals. From here, we're now going to go back in the middle, and I'd like to add little seedlings around the middle. So you can make them as little specks or little dots. You can actually do a combination of the two. It reminds me of the heartbeat when I do that. Okay, don't forget flower number 3. Okay. So at this point, we pick it up, see what I think about it, decide if I want to add anything more to it, or I'm ready to start painting or filling it with color, with whatever meaning you would do. And so remember, if you did draw the grid, you then want to erase the grid out. And there you have it. So you can decide at this point to go traditional colors if you'd like, or actually go in a whole different direction, because again, this is about your meditation time. This is about your creation. I don't know if you've decided to use a journal, which would be amazing. And then that way you can just take your time, almost use it as a Zen table page, right? So I'm going to give you these next few moments as you're making those decisions. And I'm going to read our meditation once more before I leave you for the day. Ephesians 1:17 and 18. God of our Lord Jesus, the liberating King, Father of glory, I call out to you on behalf of your people. Give them a mind ready to receive wisdom and revelation, so they will truly know you. Open the eyes of their hearts and let the light of your truth flood in. Show them what you have promised them. Shine your light on the hope you are calling them to embrace. Thanks so much for stopping by. Make sure and check out my archive of the other art lessons that I have done. And I really hope this becomes a part of your meditative practice. It definitely has done wonders for me to really be able to sit in a place of peace, even when I'm uncertain of what to do next. I know I can sit in God's presence and know that He equips me for the challenges that I have in my life. Thank you so much for stopping by.